Please don't fire us.
Please.
Hello, we are the Coach House.
And please don't fire us. So to explain a little bit of context, that's always good, isn't it? That's always a good place to start from the beginning. We're a theatre company that don't make work in theatres. We make work in our kitchens and dilapidated church. In fact, any place that will have us, which often isn't a theatre.
Thanks to Metal, we've been able to actually do some research for upcoming play BAME, Black, Asian, Minority Ethnics.
Yes.
This residency was to research, to eventually write that piece of theatre, but what we're going to talk about today, we're going to give you a little bit of an insight into our journey through identifying what BAME is actually about. When we started this residency with Metal, we thought that BAME was going to be about the different approaches arts organizations have towards EDI, equality, diversity and inclusion. We thought it was going to be about language, we thought it was going to be about data gathering and quantification of self, but it ended up being something different.
We realised that actually the one thing that everybody has in common, certainly in the UK, is the mundaneness of filling out one of these forms, and everybody goes through that. So we created a little performance to present to Metal and invade their staff, and we created a safe space where we posed as representatives from the foundation of the undefined.
The FU.
The FU. The idea behind that was to start sort of satirising and playing with this kind of this conversation that is very important and very relevant at the moment.
Like, how many unconscious bias training have you attended to, or equalities training have you attended to? We just wanted to find a way of providing that kind of experience to the Metal staff, but at the same time providing something creative in the form of a performance. The performance was divided in two bits, like RJ said. The first one was an equalities monitoring form that asks you questions like, if your arts organization was an allotment, what kind of produce would your audiences be? And then we would give like different options, from potatoes to
Kinder bars and chicken nuggets, back to tomato. And the second part, as we said, was actually trying to find out really what they thought about this and what they thought about this situation, and diversity and inclusion, and you know what they thought about their own work. So again, that was private and confidential.
It was very successful, and we really enjoyed how the first half of the performance provided like a very relaxed space for them to actually voice their opinions, and the second one gave them taking advantage of that little relaxation that we created. They just said things that they probably wouldn't have dared to say in a different setting or a different context, more institutional one. So it was really good for the staff to actually speak their mind and realize their own ideas that they had to change or not, or their own understanding of EDI as an organization, as they speak without fear. We realize that fear is a big important part of this whole BAME conversation, and we think that this fear that we live in, constant fear of saying the wrong thing or the inappropriate thing, that's something that hinders a lot the capacity that an organization has to actually evolve into a more diverse one.
And that really got shone when actually someone asked us in the second half of this performance, what would happen if someone came on here and was really racist or really abusive?
So when we were asked this question, I reacted with my organizational hat on, and I was like, well, we don't allow that kind of behavior. We would have completely asked this person to leave the Zoom room, and I just went through my mental risk assessment. In the meantime, RJ had like a way more performative or more aligned to our research kind of response, where he was, no, this is an open space for you to talk about, so please share it, and then we will weave that information into a narrative like people do with all these quantities of BAME, disabled and whatnot. I think the fear starts from us, and that's why this is called Please Don't Fire Me, because all through this residency we've been second guessing absolutely everything we said, everything we wrote, everything we watch. every person we talk to, are we okay talking to this person? So we're going to take you a little bit through that journey, through some footage that we filmed with the hopes of creating a talk show that will never see the light of day, simply because we're so scared that it may cost us our jobs. So please, if you're watching this, don't fire us, please.
So the second half of this residency, after we've kind of gone through the EDI forms and we spoke to the staff afterwards and reflected and kind of understood how we can develop this performance a little bit further, I have always wanted to be a TV host, a late night TV show. That's what we thought. That's
a logical option, isn't it? It's the easiest of options to actually bring to life in the middle of a pandemic with 2 full-time jobs and
no TV studio. One thing I learned from this is that I'm a really bad TV host. To be honest, I need a lot of practice.
I don't think you're a bad TV host. I think you're a bad TV host when you're hosting a green screen into your bedroom
with no actual audience,
which is literally what you were doing, which I think is very brave of you, if I'm honest.
But we had fun, and let's show some clips. Enough about us, more about that.
The first part of this piece is the monologue. You know, talk shows usually start with a monologue, and the monologue is quite political and quite current. So yeah, that's what we try to do. Let's have a quick look at it.
This week, my team and I have paired up with Metal in Liverpool to investigate how arts organisations are tackling diversity, specifically looking at their equality and diversity forms and the word BAME. Now, for those of you who are wondering what this magical word is, it's an acronym. Yes, a big bold acronym that pen pushers in Whitehall designed to put people that aren't white into a little filing cabinet to make sure they aren't segregating. Yeah, irony has never looked more obvious. It's going to work so well for the poor little BAME people. You think I joke, but the amount of times my name's been changed from RJ to Rajesh just to get funding is insane. And then they just see dollar signs in their eyes. Funding, funding, funding. That's right, everyone. This is what happens when everyone who actually has any say in politics is 100 years old and surviving by drinking the blood of children.
RJ, how was writing it?
Taking on the late night TV talk show, which they often gives, for some odd reason, it gives them license to just say whatever they want, really. You know, there's some really on the edge comedy, so it gave us license to experiment with that a bit more. Yeah, it was hard to write, but I love the memes.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think my favourite part of the monologue was creating the memes and making the memes, because you have like this very contemporary language where you can get like very, very niche. For example, there's a meme criticizing the 9 protected characteristics and how obsolete we think they are. But then there's another meme with just Julie Andrews pointing at the nothingness of the mountains and just talking about diversity. In the second part, we invited Go Off Sis, an amazing Liverpool podcast and great friends who have loads and loads and loads of opinions about many, many important things. We invited them over, so we recorded it over Zoom, and then we put them in our bedroom through a green screen, and RJ tried to facilitate that conversation as best as he could, like we said. We second-guessed 5 times and changed our minds like 5 different times around, should we invite them or should we not? Are we being tokenistic and just inviting them because they come from a black background, or what should we ask them about? How do they feel about BAME? Should we use their knowledge and their experience as a black self-identified person in the art world, or should we just keep it professional and just talk about their work
and just celebrate them? Yeah, which is what we decided to do, because why not? Why do we have to consistently justify ourselves? I don't get that. Let's just talk about what we're good at and have, you know, we're allowed to enjoy life.
We had the conversation off cameras with them,
and it really summed it up for us. It kind of closed the residency really nicely, really.
So we kept that in. Let's have a look.
Please welcome Go Off Sis. Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you so much for having us. It's a massive deal for us. We're so happy. Very exciting. Thank you.
No, I can promise you the honour is all ours.
Cheers.
What are you drinking there, Rachel? You do realise this is a family show, don't you?
Pink gin and just got a Rubicon from the shop, so that's me. Yeah, we kind of talk about things that we think are important conversations, but should be more normalised and in a kind of casual setting, so it's sort of like speaking to your friends, and that's us.
Let's go and view those. Can we get those on? Yeah? Cool.
I lost a friend that day,
That's terrible.
but I didn't have chlamydia. One thing that people have got this week is the fucking audacity.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, diversity is being included to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance.
Anybody who's listening and you're not black, this is just a little reminder, gentle. Don't say the N-word. You're just not allowed.
Gorgeous.
And my favourite episode is the one where you pretend to be men.
That's one of our faves as well. How funny. Mia and I were both kind of chatting to people at the time, and we were like, they were just pissing us off. So we were like, these are just things that we were going through. So we were just living our daily experience of things that we've been through on regular occurrences. And I think we then were like, let's talk about it, but from the perspective of a guy.
Yeah.
Because we were like, how do guys think like this and speak like this? Like, what is going on in their head? So we were like, let's try and get in their head.
Now, go off, sis. Let's get your opinions on this. I'm interested. What do you think about this conversation in acronym BAME?
Well, I mean, personally, I don't want to talk for Mia, but if it was me, and I think Mia does have a very interesting thing on it, but if it was me, I would just say I'm black. Times 2 to that.
In fact, I think you've just summed up our research for us. So, thank you. Now, some ads, and when we get back, we'll be playing some games and some improv. See you in a sec.
They're so cool. I really enjoyed working with Rachel and Mia that day.
Yeah,
They're so cool.
we got a little bit smashed.
Let's please go and check out their podcast as well. It's really fun. So yeah, I just thinking about it now. I don't know. Maybe we could have had the conversation a bit more. Maybe.
Rachel, Mia, are you watching?
We
Tell
hope
us what
are.
you think in the comments.
And then the form came back with vengeance and fury. And this was actually my favourite part of the show.
That's my favourite part as well.
I think what we've realised is the form.
Actually, let's watch it.
Oh, I was not expecting that.
One entrance.
We're super late. We're stupidly late. So let's just get done with this because I have a meeting in 30 minutes and I don't have time for this, okay? So let's do this.
Understand our KPIs, the narrative and the
Yeah,
curation.
so this is a narrative and the curation of the upcoming programmatic approaches and methodologies around othering and intersectionality. It's very important.
The nearest would probably be the 20 to 23.7, but I am 24, so.
We don't decide these answers. This is all coming from the Arts Council. So this is a law. This is policy. Policy is very important.
The law.
In terms of ethnicity, do you identify yourselves as BAME, BAMER, BIPOC, weapon, endangered people of Norway, black, white, brown, Benidorm brown, black African, from a hot place, super mixed, from the Europe, being called exotic a couple times, or my skin is flawless, or what was the first option again?
My skin is flawless. Please come and get that one.
Have you read this book?
I know. Oh, it's on my shelf. It's on my to-read shelf. I haven't yet.
Eye-opening, mind-bending.
Rather not disclose, please.
I mean, we're going to have the conversation now, okay? So we are submitting this form, the results, to the Arts Council, and we can only have a maximum of 10% I'd rather not disclose. When we get too many I'd rather not disclose, they don't even look at the forms, and it looks like we haven't done any work at all, okay? And I'm working very, very hard at it. So it's going to be spiders, sorry.
Which one of these options is most important to gain a job in the arts? Articulation, networking, I wish, references, a degree, whatever, volunteering, being part of a minority group.
Maybe
Maybe being part of a minority group. Yeah.
Lettuce, 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 lettuce is all I can think about. Lettuce, 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 lettuce is all I can think about.
Thomas Jefferson, I'm going to compel him to include women in this equal work. So E for equality, 100%. Yeah.
Do you know the difference between equality and equity?
Equity is the actors' joints.
I'm gonna send you a meme. I'm gonna send you an image that describes perfectly what equality and equity mean.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
We've answered as well as we could with the questions that we were given.
And they were great questions.
Like everything is art in this world, isn't it?
Yeah, this is art. This right here is art. Do you know what I mean?
Questionable.
We really wanted to bring the experience that we had with the metal staff to other people within the arts, and in the end we brought actors who were playing a character and go of cis and took them through the process of going through this form. None of them knew what the form was about, so they're improvising and reacting naturally to it. I think it was super fun, and I think it's probably the bit that we loved the most, but also the bit that we were the most scared about losing our jobs, because the inspiration to create our characters, the CEO and the PA, come directly from our work experiences within the arts, from when I used to work in film back in Spain to all sorts of weird and wonderful directors who have bossed and beaten me around. It's been fun. We become the worst that we've seen through the years, and we just embody it, and it's cathartic. It's like it redeems or past sins almost. Yeah, I think there's something very powerful about the form. That's what we concluded. The things it evoked in people have a lot to talk about. They have a lot to talk about, and this seemed to be a strategy of opening that conversation. And people wanted to change. That was the beautiful bit. I think one person came back to us after the performance had happened, sort of said, like, you had me thinking all weekend. You had me thinking all weekend about who I was, how I project myself, and am I this? Have I got unconscious by it? It was really quite evocative. It really was. And at the same time, people were howling because it was funny. So yeah, we're looking for arts organisations who would like to go through this process as well. So please just go in the comments and tell us, please do this performance for us as well. And we will just wear like metal lanyards.
Have you been losing loads of hair because of the stress of COVID, furlough, and else? Worry not, we have the solution for you. Metal Remote Residencies. A breather for your daily life, because you're worth it.
Let's have a look at the streets though, because this is what our friend Duncan, he's a great performer in the city, did us a big favour in doing this, and it's the epitome of late night talk show sketches, but also it really shone a light on the confusion that's going on in the world. Let's have a look.
Duncan in the street. Dun, dun.
My name's Duncan Cameron, and I am the correspondent for Museum of Many Identities, and we are going to go take a little walk and ask some people some questions about their identity. LGBTIQ, LGBTIQ plus.
Just gay.
Just gay. Oh well, that's not really LGBTIQ plus or S.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Oh. Does he speak on behalf of you?
Yeah, I'll speak on behalf of everyone in Liverpool. Yeah.
Black?
Yeah.
Yeah? Shabam! You definitely get some points for that one. Is all I can think about.
I think you need to calm down a little bit.
Let us. Is all I think about. Astrogender. Astrogender?
Yeah. Male.
Male?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You don't know what you are!
And that's everything for today. We have loads and loads and loads of more footage that we're really, really scared to release. But please, if you think it's worth it, let us know, and we'll just set the fear aside and just release it just for you. We have songs from the musical, we have Saturday Night Live kind of sketches, we have way more to share. So please let us know if you want to
just leave a comment in the boxes. And if you've got any questions for us, you can contact us. It's coachhouseliverpool@gmail.com. Just give us a message. We're happy to take any questions. Or contact us on Facebook as well.
Or Instagram. Please give us a follow.
And in the meantime, it's been lovely spending some time with you today. Thank you so much to Metal and offering us these platforms to have loads of fun, basically, and explore these conversations. We will be seeing you very soon.
And don't forget to listen to K-pop.